Hi, I'm Ray with Triple P Funds, and we're here at the Hempstead farm. It is Hempcrete week, and we're here talking about the building materials that'll be going into some of the homes that we're building. But one of the things that was a highlight is also the farm tour and the experimental nature of the farming aspect of hemp and production on the industrial side of the hemp plant. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce that. I'll show you some of the things on how the fiber comes out of the plant and then let you enjoy the tour. These didn't perform like they wanted to as far as getting, normally this would be like 6, 7, 8 feet tall. And so some other farms down the road did get similar or did get better results planting at a different time. And so everything is a little bit experimental going on. Time of planting, genetics, all of those things in nature. But I want to show you real quick just how this comes apart. Now there's the inner side, which is the hurd, the sheave that breaks apart like that. And then this is the fibrous part that you can see the long fibers that come out of here. This is what the material in the fabric is made of. And so when you do that, but the main thing that we're focused on this week is this byproduct of the fabric, and that's the hemp hurd. And so this is what gets mixed with lime and then formed into the houses. And this is what our focus is on the construction side, but we're also very interested on what happens on the farming side. And we hope you enjoy this video.
Well, so this is a CBD variety. It's called Wild Americana. It was actually named after my old Instagram handle, The Wild American. The guy created this in Oregon, sent it out here. We had 12-foot tall, beautiful, beautiful plants last year. Nothing went over the legal limit. And we kept them out there, some of them until November. And none of them had mold. It was a really great strain. But CBD market crashed. The values, as everybody knows. I had been working with Cameron and all together now for quite a while and decided that it would be a good opportunity to switch over to industrial hemp for fiber, grain. Again, this is an ode to our plants last year. I used the seed from last year so that we have a second generation of CBD hemp growing on the Hempstead here. And we'll continue to grow this variety. In small quantities, just because we feel like it was a really perfect match for this area. I put this hemp in 3 weeks before that CBD hemp. So there was something going on here, and what we've decided is a couple of things. One, we put fiber hemp is much more photosensitive than CBD hemp. Okay, so CBD varieties of the hemp, they're growing until end of September here. They're filling out. Maybe they're not growing vertically, but they're growing large. They're getting larger. The CBD plants that I had last year, we put in June 15th. By August 15th, they were probably 6 feet tall. And then by September, maybe another foot. They only grew a foot in that month, but they got much larger. They started branching out, spreading out, so filling out. The fiber plants we put in on June 24th, all of the plots. And not much of a difference in size here from the time that, at 4 weeks after planting, I came down here and these were all this size. So they haven't grown since mid-July, vertically. And that is the photosensitivity of the plant. So what you're seeing on the CBD plants, what makes them go into bud, so they'll start growing vertically, what makes them go into bud is the amount of daylight that's, you have that. So I think it's under 18 hours and it kicks them into budding. So male plants will show pollen, female plants show buds. Males pollinate the females, and then you get seed. On July 15th, I think, we had male plants already this high showing pollen in the fiber fields, blowing fiber or pollen everywhere. So from seed to 3-4 feet tall with pollen in less than a month. it happened really, really fast. And the idea that, my thought is the plants need to go in earlier because they're going to get most of their growth from the first month of June. And if you don't put them in until the end of June, it's not going to happen. By June 20th, June 25th, you have pretty much all the growth that you're going to get.
So how high did you expect this to get, and how much further do you expect it to go?
This exact strain, the same exact strain, was grown, planted on the 1st of June, 30 miles from here. It is 6 feet tall.
Okay.
7, 8 feet tall. Some of the
soil light.
Yeah, I mean,
temperature.
We didn't blast the soil with nitrogen here, but it was treated. I mean, this is pretty much the same soil that you're getting from our CBD that our CBD plants got up there. There's not much of a difference in nitrogen between the two plots. So the fact that, number one, they went to seed, hit pollen within, I'm saying, okay, even if we gave them the best soil, the sun is telling them to quit growing by mid-July. They've really just stretched as much as they're going to stretch. Maybe you get another 3-4 inches out of it, maybe another foot, but that's really the end. You're pushing it. So you need 2 good months of growing for it to get to that 6-7 foot tall plant. We're going for hurd and grain. We've got quite a bit of grain here. There's a lot of seeds on the plants, but if we're looking at hurd, we're not really going to fill up a trailer full of hurd off of this. Now, this was a test year for us. That's why we grew 5 varieties. I wanted to see if it had something to do with the nitrogen. I wanted to see if it had something to do with the variety, if it had something to do with the elevation. And I can't tell the difference between the 5 varieties that I planted.
Ones by the roadside look really nice.
They're great. That's a CBD variety. So the photosensitivity on that plant is completely different. It was sucking up nitrogen and it was taking in energy and growing for a much longer period of time. And it was planted after these.
Wow.
So there was a serious deficiency in the amount of time that they needed to grow. So we missed out on three good weeks of growth, and that 3 good weeks of growth equaled about 3 feet in plant height. So, but again, these are all seeded, planted, male, females. The males popped. You might be able to catch a couple of the male plants in here, but they've usually died off by now. Now this is a dead, like a field redded female plant. Okay, so when the plants have run their course, their life, they get brown. The seeds do as they're supposed to do, dry out. So these are viable seeds, and now they're replanted in the field. But that's a really good representation of what I'm talking about. These plants have run their course of their life already.
Yeah.
And those plants up there, they're still going strong. Still stretching, actually, still getting wider and fuller. So there's a serious difference in between or just an incredibly noticeable difference in between the strains. If I broadcast CBD seeds, okay, they would still branch.
Yeah, because for example, I just comparing to pine trees. If you plant pine trees close to each other, they grow up.
Go straight.
Straight up.
That's
If you go
yeah. You plant at a higher density for fiber.
Maybe I thought maybe you will plant CBD hemp close to each other and grow up.
Yeah.
They actually
maybe a little bit. Yeah.
There's cultivars that they're trying to work on that are a combination that you can get like a crappy CBD harvest off of it. You can still get the seed and the fiber and the hurd. And that's sort of the European model where they're looking at
This is
whole plant utilization.
This plant has CBD in it. This plant has all the makings of a cannabis plant. You smell it. There's a bud on here. It's sticky. It looks, smells, is cannabis. Whether the CBD percentages are high enough that it would be worth cultivating the top off, maybe harvesting the seeds and then extracting the rest of the top of the plant. There's not going to be much down below here. But
right now it's not viable because the extractors are so small. They're trying to run like 10, 12%
Oh yeah, absolutely.
CBD, where this might be 3
Yeah.
to 5. In fact, Drew and Anna grew a crop last year that had 3 to 5% CBD in it.
Yep.
So at volume, when you get these huge extraction facilities, that might be worthwhile, but it takes the same amount of ethanol to extract a pound, whether it's 3% or whether it's 10%. So for them right now, it's a value proposition. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Dollars
had my
per
own-
yield.
Dollars per yield.
If
yeah.
I had my own CBD processing machine on this property here, if I had my own ethanol extraction machine, I could theoretically cut the tops off of all these plants, harvest my grain, then take the rest of it, run it through an ethanol extraction, and get a CBD oil from this plant, for sure. There are no fiber processors in this area that I can call and give them this piece of hemp, which then goes through a machine and gets crunched up like this.
Is that called a decorticator?
Decorticated, yep. But all the herd, you can see it falling onto the ground. And then what happens is, just in the machine, this is what's happening. All the herd's falling on the ground. Then you have a large pile of herd on the ground. This has already been cut off. I skipped that. You would take a machine and come through the field and top the tops off, get your grain. So then you're left with your seed. And you're sitting out here with nice tall plants that then get cut, laid down, baled, sent to a decorticator, and the decorticator gives you back your herd or your fiber or whatever it is. Our farm here is hopefully going to be one of the places that gets a fiber processor, a decorticator. So we can do the first step. We can take this out of the field, you can bring it here if you're a farmer, and we can give you your seed, give you your fiber, give you your herd, and get you 3, cash options for one crop. It's a lofty ambition, and I've been told that about pretty much everything I've ever done. So I'm ready for it. But I'm hoping that events like this and investors can see that I can make hemp milk out of hemp seed. And you can hold the hemp milk in your hand, you can drink it, and it tastes good, and it's an organic product. It's been farmed organically, locally. You can see the whole life cycle of the plant right here on this farm, which is pretty cool. And you get 2 other products from the same crop. You still have your fiber and you still have your herd. And I already have a cup of milk that I made from the seed. So that exact spiel that I just gave you is what I've given to a bunch of investors. And they kind of get excited. They do. But they want to see exactly what it's going to take, and they want to know the numbers, and they want to know how long and how many people it's going to take to get you 1,000 gallons of hemp milk. So, as everybody knows, it's all in the details, and that's what we're trying to work out.